Your dog did something today that looked so ordinary, you probably did not think much of it. Maybe they walked toward you with that soft, loose body. Maybe they looked back at you at the park. Maybe they leaned gently against your leg while you were busy doing something else. And maybe you saw it, but you did not fully hear what it meant. Because there is a quiet misunderstanding happening in homes every single day. You think you are showing your dog love in ways that should be easy to understand. In the treats, in the gentle voice, in the cuddles, in the way you shape your routine around their needs. And yes, your dog feels all of that, but not in the way most humans imagine. Dogs do not understand love through language the way we do. They do not sit there, translating words into emotional meaning. They read something older, something deeper, something the body understands before the mind ever does. Safety, predictability, calm, trust, belonging. That is the language your dog has been listening to all along. And the beautiful part is this. They have been answering you in that same language every day. Not with words, not with explanations, but with behavior, with posture, with breath. With the small moments most people overlook because they do not seem dramatic enough to matter. But they do matter. Because when a dog feels truly safe with someone, the body changes first. The muscles soften. The vigilance eases. The breathing slows. The need to scan the world all the time begins to fade. And if your dog does that most easily around you, then what they are saying is far deeper than simple affection. They are telling you where they feel safest in the world. Watch your dog the next time they walk toward you in a completely ordinary moment. Not when food is involved. Not when you have called them. Not when you are holding the leash. Just a normal moment. You sit down. They notice. And then they choose to come closer. A dog who is still unsure often moves carefully. The body stays a little tense. The steps are measured. There is a quiet hesitation in the muscles as if some part of them is still holding back. But a dog who feels deeply safe comes differently. The body is loose. The tail does not just wag, it carries the whole back half with it. The shoulders move softly, the steps almost bounce. Sometimes the entire dog seems to smile with the body before the face even changes. Canine body language experts often point to that loose movement as one of the clearest signs of emotional ease. There is no bracing in it, no guardedness, no hidden preparation to pull away. What you are seeing is not just excitement, it is trust made physical. Your dog's nervous system is saying something very simple. I do not need to protect myself here. And dogs do not offer that softness to everyone. They give it to the people their body has learned to place in the category of safe. That is not random. That is not just personality. That is a conclusion. A conclusion built through hundreds of ordinary moments when you were predictable, gentle, and emotionally easy to be around. Then there is the glance. The one most people barely notice. You are outside, maybe in the garden, maybe at the park. Your dog is busy with the world. Nose down, mind completely absorbed. And then, without you calling, they look back. Just for a second. Just enough to find you. Then they go back to exploring. It looks small, but small behaviors are often the most honest ones. Research on canine attachment suggests that bonded dogs use their person as a secure base. That means your presence becomes an anchor point that makes exploration feel safe. In human psychology, we see something similar in infants. A child explores but checks back on the caregiver. Not because they are panicking, not because they need help, but because that presence quietly supports their confidence. Dogs do something strikingly similar. So when your dog checks back for you, do not dismiss it as habit. It is orientation. It is attachment. It is your dog saying, I can move into the world because I know where you are. You are not just nearby. You are part of what makes the environment feel manageable. You are not background to your dog's experience. You are one of the reasons the experience feels safe enough to enjoy. And then there is one of the deepest signs of all. Sleep. Not just resting near you. Not just closing the eyes. But real surrender. The kind of sleep where the paws twitch. The breathing grows heavy and slow. Little sounds slip out. The body forgets to stay ready. This matters more than most people realize, because deep rest is vulnerability. In that state, awareness drops, defenses soften. The body is no longer preparing to respond at full speed. For any animal, that is significant. Even in a loving home, the survival brain does not disappear completely. It only learns where it can finally stand down. According to the RSPCA, relaxed dogs tend to show soft muscles, loose posture, calm breathing, and very little tension in the face and body. So when your dog falls into real, unguarded sleep near you, what you are seeing is not just tiredness. It is biological trust. It is your dog's body making a powerful decision. I do not need to stay alert here. Nothing bad happens when my guard drops around this person. That is not a small gift. That is one of the deepest forms of trust a dog can offer. Then there is the lean. Quiet. Unannounced. Easy to miss. You are standing in the kitchen, waiting for the kettle, looking at your phone, thinking about something that has nothing to do with your dog. And then they come over and gently press the side of their body into your leg. Not pawing, not jumping, not asking, just touching. Most people answer this with a quick pat and move on. But the meaning goes deeper than that. In canine social behavior, deliberate physical contact without an obvious reward can be a strong sign of affiliation. It is one of the ways social animals close distance with the individuals they feel most connected to. Your dog is not necessarily trying to get something from you in that moment. They may be returning to something. Your body, your presence, your calm. The familiar closeness that helps their own system settle. This is where many people misunderstand dogs. They assume every contact is a request. But sometimes contact is not a request at all. Sometimes it is regulation. Sometimes it is belonging. Sometimes it is the body saying, I feel better when I am here. That lean may look tiny, but emotionally it says something very large. Being close to you changes how safe your dog feels inside their own body. And then we come to something almost strange in how tender it is. The yawn. If you have never tried this, do it one evening when your dog is calm and watching you. Yawn slowly, naturally, and see what happens. Some dogs yawn back, and while that may look silly on the surface, studies have suggested something fascinating. Dogs can show contagious yawning more often with familiar humans, especially their owners, than with strangers. Scientists still debate exactly what that means, but one interpretation points toward emotional attunement, not human empathy in the simple way people describe it, but something close. A kind of nervous system sensitivity, a response to your state. Your dog is not just seeing you, they are tuned to you, to your face, your tone, your tension, your rhythm. And when their body echoes yours in these subtle ways, it suggests the bond is working below the level of conscious thought. It lives in timing, in synchrony, in the quiet mirroring that happens when two beings become deeply familiar with each other. So if your dog yawns after you do not rush past it. Maybe it is small, but small does not mean meaningless. Sometimes it means the opposite. Sometimes the smallest behavior is the clearest sign that another nervous system is listening to yours. And then comes the moment most owners misunderstand completely. Coming home. People focus on the explosion first. The spinning, the tail, the sounds. The almost unbearable joy of being greeted like you are the best thing that has ever happened. And yes, that moment is beautiful. But the deeper sign often comes after it. About a minute later, when the greeting settles, when the big energy passes, watch what your dog does then. Do they lie down near you? Do they exhale slowly? Do they stop pacing? Do they seem to come back into themselves now that you are there? That is the sign many people miss, because excitement is obvious, relief is quieter. But relief tells you more. Research into canine stress and separation suggests that a bonded relationship can affect how quickly a dog returns to baseline after being alone or overstimulated. In simple terms, your return does not just create happiness, it helps reset the system. Heart rate eases, tension drops, the body settles, and the speed of that settling can tell you something important about attachment. A securely bonded dog often calms more fully when the person they trust returns. Not because they are spoiled, not because they are dramatic, but because their body has learned that your presence means things are okay again. That is not just excitement, that is emotional regulation. Your dog is not only happy you are home, your dog is more at ease inside themselves because you are home. And then, finally, there is the look. The one your dog gives you when something uncertain happens. A sound outside. A stranger at the door. A sudden movement they do not understand. Where do they look? Very often, not at the thing itself. At you. At your face. At your breathing. At the tiny changes around your eyes and mouth. Behavioral research suggests that dogs use human emotional cues when deciding how to interpret unfamiliar situations. This is often described as social or emotional referencing. And it means your dog is not just reacting to the world, they are reading you to understand the world. If your face is calm, they soften faster. If your body tightens, they notice. If your voice changes, they measure it. Think about what that means. In a moment of uncertainty, your dog is not relying on instinct alone. They are turning to the one presence their experience has taught them to trust. Nobody had to teach them that with words. Life taught them. Observation taught them. Your consistency taught them. Moment by moment, day after day, your dog built a case for you. And in the moments that matter most, they trust that case. They look at you because somewhere deep inside, you have become part of the answer. So when you place all these moments side by side, a different picture begins to appear. The loose body, the glance back, the deep sleep, the lean, the yawn, the settling after you return, the way they read your face when the world feels uncertain. None of that is random. None of it is just habit, and none of it is small. These are not only signs that your dog likes you, they are signs that your dog regulates through you, that your presence changes what safety feels like in their body, that around you the muscles soften faster, the guard drops lower, the breath deepens sooner. And that may be one of the purest forms of love a dog can give. Because love in a dog's world is not mostly spoken. It is not announced. It is lived through trust, through return, through rest, through the quiet confidence of a body that no longer feels alone in the world. So the next time your dog does one of these things, do not brush past it. Do not call it nothing. Do not miss the message again. Because your dog has been telling you something beautiful all along, not with words, not with explanations, but with the only language they have ever truly trusted, their body, their choices, Their way of coming back to you again and again when they need calm, safety, and home. If your dog does one of these, tell me which one in the comments. And if you want to keep understanding the hidden meaning behind the quiet things dogs do every day, stay with Paw's Mind. Because sometimes the smallest behavior reveals the deepest truth.